Well, good morning, and thank you for the invitation. The question posed to us is, can the unification talks regain momentum? Well, in my view, the short answer is yes. Unfortunately, the slightly longer answer is it depends. And let me first begin by some positive assessments, in that after 7 years of stalemate, we have had some positive movement towards this direction. We have had recently the appointment of Mrs. Orkin. We have had the three-party meeting between Mr. Christodoulidis, Mr. Tadar, and Mr. Guterres, and a decision to proceed with a multi-party conference in the near future to hopefully decide on the restart of the negotiations. And over and above all this, we have had the strengthening of the ties between Cyprus and the United States with the recent strategic cooperation agreement that we have signed, the visit of Mr. Christodoulidis to the White House, which show the increasing role that Cyprus has in the region. I particularly salute Mr. Biden's clear statement after this meeting that the framework under which the negotiations should start are the UN resolutions, the bizonal, bicommunal federation framework that has been set out by the UN resolutions. But there, unfortunately, we hit a snag, because after the three-party meeting, when someone reads the statement of Mr. Guterres, he says that there is no common ground. And here, just the two parties to bridge the gap between their positions. Now, there are two problems with this statement. Firstly, we believe that the common ground is the UN framework, bizonal, bicommunal federation framework. Apparently, Mr. Guterres does not believe that this is any longer the case. Secondly, we know what our position is. It's one state, one federal state. But we also know what the Turkish position is on the matter, two-state solution. So how do you square the circle between one state and two states? Therefore, the answer to the question, the slightly longer answer, it all depends on what Turkey wants to do and what Turkey is allowed to do in this multi-party conference. But unfortunately, that's only the beginning of our problems, because my personal view is that we should examine the Cyprus problem in a wider context, in what Turkey intends for the whole region of the Middle East. Because under Mr. Erdogan and his policies of Islamification and pan-Turkism, Turkey has become increasingly an authoritarian, expansionist, revisionist power in the region. And let's note that just in the last 4 years, Turkey has conducted 4 separate wars with troop presence outside its borders, in Syria, in Iraq, in Nagorno-Karabakh, in Libya. And let's not forget the 40,000 troops we have on the island. And at the same time, Mr. Erdogan has strengthened his stranglehold on Turkey. 1/3 of all journalists jailed worldwide are jailed in Turkey, 1 in 3. Turkey leads a censorship of social media platforms, and that's in the annual special report of Twitter. Mr. Erdogan's family seems to be controlling the lucrative weapons production business in Turkey, and that's just the beginning of our troubles. Because unfortunately, it seems that Turkey is financing or assisting most of the terrorist organizations in the region. Hamas has chosen to leave Qatar and set up a command headquarters in Ankara. In December of 2022, the US Treasury Department sanctioned Sidki Ayan, a Turkish national with close ties to Mr. Erdogan, for facilitating the sale of Iranian oil. In January of 2024, the US Treasury Department sanctioned several Turkish entities for providing critical financial assistance to Iran's Quds force. Recently, Turkish entities were tied with assisting Hezbollah in Lebanon. Let me stress this. A member of NATO is actively assisting or allowing the financial assistance assistance of most terrorist organizations in the Middle East. So my question is, why is Turkey not mentioned in the same breath in the axis of evil category of countries in the region? And the answer, of course, is obvious, because unlike Iran, Turkey is a NATO country. So NATO provides an alibi for everything that Turkey does. Turkey is in the G20, so the European Union bends over backwards to facilitate Mr. Erdogan's plans. But this doesn't make Turkey less dangerous. It makes Turkey more dangerous for the region. And unless the international community, beginning with the European Union, realizes the danger that Turkey poses in the region, the Middle East will remain destabilized, will keep fighting the same wars all over again and again. Problems such as ours will remain unresolved. Because unlike Turkey, Cyprus is a member state of the European Union. We do have a vision for cooperation in the region, particularly in the sector of energy, with Egypt, with Israel. We do have, and we want to assist the plans of building the Great Sea interconnector that will connect Europe and Cyprus and later Israel. We have assisted people fleeing from conflicts in the region, from the Sudan, Ukraine, from Israel. We have assisted Lebanon with its immigration crisis, whereas Turkey, today as we speak, does not impose sanctions for the Ukraine war. And actually, she does exactly the opposite by actively assisting Russia in her endeavors. Therefore, again, pose the question, why is a NATO member allowed to behave in this manner? And in closing, I repeat that, and I agree with what was said before by the President of the Parliament, that Cyprus is a member state of the European Union. What we want is to enjoy the same rights that are enjoyed by most of the all of the European citizens in the European Union. And I will end with a quote by the late Secretary General of the UN, Mr. Perez de Cuellar, when in an off-cuff remark he said this: there is no Cyprus problem. Cyprus has a Turkey problem. Thank you very much.